Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and welcome to this month's Four Horsemen build. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. So as usual, if you guys have been following along, the Four Horsemen is four YouTube builders. Each month we get to pick our own, and all four of us get to do the same casting. And this month it is this Greenlight van, and the theme is 4x4. So, having not a lot of experience in Greenlight and even less experience in anything four-wheel drive, I decided to start tackling this with no clue how I was going to do it or what I was going to do to it. The green lights are pretty decent. They have a lot of detail. They have a lot of parts that have to come out because they have so much detail. And these vans actually have, it's two parts, with the base having the pieces of the fenders and the sides actually all in really part of the base itself. So it looks kind of silly if you try to replace the base completely. The windows, all the inside glass, has like 8,000 little tabs that you got to screw out. It's like a matchbox on steroids. It's insane. You can see these are all the times I'm drilling. it's nuts, and almost impossible to get them out without breaking, which I have probably the patience of, well, I have the least amount of patience of anybody, I guess. So getting kind of irritated here. But I managed to get most of it out. I didn't break all of it. I broke some of it. So because I'm not good with chassis, I decided to use this chassis from this Power Wagon. And it's got a lot of detail on it. I was really happy with that. It was the marrying of the two castings, the casting from one and the base from the other. It was very challenging, to say the least. Excuse me. The base itself pretty much was just glued on, so that came off real easy. And the wheelbase itself was actually perfect. So hope was high on my list at this point. So the front bumpers, rear bumpers, the grill assembly itself was all one piece. You can pretty much just use your little punch down tool like I'm using here. It'll knock it out without breaking. You can also pry a little bit once you get it going so you don't break the tabs, and that just makes it easier to put it back together. So the hardest part of this whole thing really was the mating of the chassis to the actual van casting itself. So that's where I spent a lot of my time, and really up until last second it was a guessing game. It just, nothing seemed, this whole project was one of those ones that fight you from the beginning to the end. And if you'll notice, I'm taking extra care to make sure the wheels are really reusable. Not. I had no intention of ever using them again, so I pretty much just cut them off and everything slides right out. But if you'll notice, the base itself isn't flat, so that's what made it difficult to really mate these two pieces up together. You got the bump where the axles ran, and it just, you can see I'm kind of highlighting it there now. So what I ended up doing is I ground a little bit out and cut it, but there was still a lot of bumps on the chassis, so I didn't show it. What I did is I brought it to work and put it on the belt sander and got it a little bit smoother so that it was fairly flush, and just made things a little bit easier to try to make it look not completely stupid. Partially stupid, maybe. So again, this was a challenging build, way outside of my wheelhouse, which is good because that helps you build your skills, gives you some ideas, and really pushes you. If you do the same crap all the time, you're going to keep doing the same crap. So I always tend to err on stuff I kind of know how to do and stuff I'm really, really interested in. 4x4s is not on my list of things I'm interested in. So this worked out really well for me to push myself and try different things. So you can see I'm using after the stripper, a little bit of wire wheel, a little bit of Scotch-Brite pad. The casting, believe it or not, was really in great shape. So I'm not going to use the front bumper. So I'm just going to fill in the holes with some spot putty. And I let that dry. It takes a little bit for that stuff to set up and make it sandable. So I do it twice, essentially. I kind of put it on there. I'll scrape it flush, let it sit, sand it down, and then I'll put one more coat on it just to get it so you don't see the sinkholes where the front bumper was originally. There was no need for it because the other chassis has the full gamut with the winch and everything else. So it would just look kind of silly to have an extra bumper there that I didn't really need. But yeah, the great part about these Four Horsemen builds is we all have something that we are really good at, you know. So when we pick a project, we tend to pick within our wheelhouse of what we're good at, and we pick a theme, which makes it a little bit more difficult, and then it forces everyone to do that. And that's good because the four skill sets that we all bring to the table, really we're just kind of helping each other expand our skills, and that's good. So I'm going to paint with the Chaos Black from Citadel the entire chassis, including the wheels, which I'm going to scuff up later anyway, so I don't care if I got them painted. And this project took a turn at the last possible second to, you'll see later at the end if you guys keep watching, if I haven't bored you to death already. So I do have Steino Res. I just decided to do a quickie primer job on this. I'm using the splash paints, and it's pretty, it doesn't seem to matter what I use for a primer. So I'm using an Autumn Shimmer, which sounds like a stripper name, but it has, it's almost like a root beer, but it's got a metallic in it. Here I'm kind of just using water to wet down the spray booth to keep the dust out. I haven't been able to get to the store to get a new filter, and you know, with everything going on that's going on. So but the Autumn Shimmer, again, if you haven't watched any of my latest videos, I've been using splash paints a lot. Stuff's right out of the bottle. It's a base coat, clear coat system. So it'll dry flat, but it'll pop once you put your 2K primer on there, and it does. It really pops. I was able to get some decent shots of the paint job at the end. So, excuse me. But it goes on real easy. You don't have to go crazy being super careful. I mean, I haven't got it to run yet, but I also haven't tried to get it to run, but I'm also not tiptoeing around it. I put a decent first coat on, get it tacky, let it sit, and then my following coats I can put on pretty heavy, as you can see. And it doesn't dry looking like that. It will dry flat, but as you're painting it, it's great because it gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like. And so that's an advantage. So you can see here how it's just flat. You can't see any of the Autumn Shimmer in there. But it looks kind of boring, so I figured I got this vinyl tape from Tamiya, some different thicknesses. This stuff is awesome, and then I've got the regular masking tape from them as well that I'll use for the bulk of everything. But to make fine lines, this stuff is really good. You can bend that stuff around anything, and it maintains, and no paint gets underneath it. So I am absolutely in love with this paint, with this tape. So I kind of went with a 18 stripe pattern, even though it really wasn't my intention. Just after I did it, I'm like, oh shit, that looks like the 18 thing. But it is what it is, and I didn't go crazy. I wanted just kind of a subtle paint scheme, so I went with the jet black, also from Splash as well. You can see everything's kind of masked off. Again, I didn't want to go full like 70s crazy sparkly custom crap, so I decided to just go more rugged and industrial. So Because the base, as I stated earlier, also is part of the casting itself and it doesn't just sit inside, I painted that black. The jet black actually goes on really nice from Splash. It's coverage right off the bat is really, really good. It rivals the Createx stuff, so I was real happy with that. It's the first time I used the jet black, and it worked really, really well. Same thing though, it's a base coat, clear coat, so obviously it's going to dry flat, and when you put your clear on, it'll pop at that point. And I use an automotive clear I get from the supply house. The automotive supply house is locally, and I use the Nason stuff, and it works really, really well. So really, once that's done, I'm going to go through and do the marker lights, the tail lights, door handles, all the details that I can possibly do without going super crazy. But there are some details on this, which is really good. So after the clear, you can see here how good it looks. You can see some of that sparkle in there, the autumn shimmer. I like saying autumn shimmer. I definitely think that should be a stripper name if it isn't already. So if you know a stripper named Autumn Shimmer, comment down below. But yeah, this stuff really, really looks good. I like it. It's subtle. It's almost like a metal flake, but it's very, very subtle. So you can see I've got all my parts painted. And again, I went with the Chaos Black for the interior and then the rear bumper. And this is where things kind of went downhill. I ended up, I'll tell you in a second. My Wicked Pissa Jar. If you guys know, when I was at 12,000 subscribers, I said when I get to 14, I'm going to give all the contents away. Here's what we have so far in this jar. And I'm about halfway through. I'm almost at like 12.8, 12.9, so as of this video. So all these things that you're seeing right now is going to be given away to one person when I reach 14,000 subscribers. And the contents, I think, are pretty cool so far. I'm adding that this week, the M257 Chevy from Excel. And here's my problem. I scratched the paint right there, right down to the bare metal. Don't ask how I did it. It's a long story and it's embarrassing, but I did it. So, adapt and overcome. I can get some Citadel Sterling mud, and Xandri dust. So this thing, I'm going to pretend it got painted and then we took it out for a rip in the mud and ended up getting mud all over it. It hides the scratch and it still looks pretty cool in my opinion. This is what we started with. And make sure when you're done this video, look in the description. Everybody's links are going to be down there to all 4 videos. So this is what it looks like. You can see my mud and dust that I've added. I think it looks pretty damn good considering I screwed up at the 11th hour. And I hope you guys like it. I know the other 3 guys are going to kill this. I've already seen a couple of them. So please go check out everybody's videos and watch the rest of these. I've got a ton of different things. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.